It's been a while since Frank Ocean has dropped an album. Dropped a few songs here and there. Recently on Blonded Radio, he dropped kind of like an instrumental interview, which was very interesting, as it seems like a bit of a sneak peek into what Frank's next album's going to sound like. And I think it's probably going to sound pretty psychedelic. And so today, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a Frank Ocean type beats. And I'm going to predict and kind of see what I think his album is going to sound like in the future. Sunglasses. I just got the second and final order in, so they're back in stock, but these aren't going to last long, and once they're gone forever. Forever! So for Frank Ocean type beats, you use a BPM of 130. You just kind of have to look up a song you like and go with that. First instrument we got right here is just this synth called Clouds. And it, sounds like clouds. This is from my new bank, Summer Nights. It's a bank packed with a bunch of sounds to kind of add some emotion to your beats. There's a lot of great bells, pluck synths, etc., which are perfect for counter melodies and just adding something different to your beat. So for this chord progression, it's generally pretty simple. How I kind of built this one was once I had this chord done, all I did was drag this over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just the greatest trick in the world. It's always going to sound good. You can move it up or down. And then what I went in and did was I copied this over, but I wanted this chord to be slightly different towards the end of here, just to kind of resolve this whole sequence and keep it from getting overly boring. And all I did to create this chord was I noticed that these two lined up and this would create a new chord right here. I just bumped this A up to make it sound a little bit brighter, so. It just gave it what it was kind of missing right there. Next sound I got is just this guitar. This is an instrument Frank uses in a lot of different types of beats, and this is from my bank Grails, which is just mixed with a bunch of real sounds and synth sounds. This is just a sound I created to kind of just be like a staple guitar, and so that's why I'm using it. To make the guitar sound like even more unique and stand out more, I went and added just some thermal. I used this dreamy lo-fi piano. First synth, I cut out some like mid-lows as it was sounding a bit muddy because there's just too much going on. It's very wavy. Frank Ocean, waves. So if you look at the MIDI for this guitar, a few key things I did here. One, I made sure that these notes were all really strummed because, guitars, you strum the strings, so you have to make sure you do that, otherwise it's not going to sound like an actual guitar. These are just the same chords we used for the synth sound. And then for this little top melody that I created here, I really just went with notes that were already in the chord right here. This is already being played down there. Then to add some tension, I went and added this A, which is also in the scale. Like you can see it in some of these other chords as well. And then I kind of just did that throughout, really just tried to come up with a cool, unique rhythm. There's no secret formula to doing this, but if you're not sure what notes to try, start out with notes that are already in the chord that you're playing, and then go into notes that are in the scale as well. Then I just want to create a really basic top melody, so I just have this sound called Peace. So for this top melody right here, really simple. I just kind of went with notes that are in the chords. So I started with this top note in this chord right here. This is just the bottom note of that chord. And it's really that simple. Another note in the chord. And then to keep it slightly interesting, I varied like the lengths of these right here. So, not all exactly the same. I ended up adding this E right here, also just a note in the chord. So it's really that simple. So now it's time to make this a little bit more trippy. I think how I'm gonna do that is with the bass line and the drums. I found this little bass line right here. It's just from this thing called Trillion. It's called Retro Game. I'm not exactly sure if this is going to be here, but this is definitely fitting the vibe that I want so far. Alright, so now on to the drums. And this is where, things get weird. Because we want to make this, as unique and Frank Ocean as possible. We're going to be using my drum kit Glitch here today. This is the perfect drum kit if you need like cool, unique sounds that you can really just throw in any beats and are not so unique that, you're not gonna ever use them. All right, so we got our drums. The other hi-hats are kind of like the rolls since we're layering them. Then went in and layered this clap with another kind of like FX sound on every other, so it sounds pretty tight. So like right here, right here, right here, and this just makes the drum sound way more interesting. Make it sound a little bit bigger. And then now almost onto my favorite sound, but just a little open hat. And then last and probably the most unique drum kind of thing I've got going on right here is I've got this perk, and then I really played with the velocities right here to kind of make it sound like it's fading away, and then it kind of doubles up over here, and the second one gets a little bit lower in volume. And I went in and panned them a bunch of different directions. Now, here's the finished beat, my friends.
Dylan XO.